request that I have more than almost any other is how do I paint yellow, both on my Imperial Fists and then on the stripes on my rhinos. These particular ones, there's a few extra steps because I'm bringing that bright yellow up from black, and I do it, and it takes several layers. I go from a Codex Gray. I use a Vallejo just because of what I have. It's a Codex Gray, excuse me, and then I go to Fortress Gray, which is what I was showing you guys how to do this. And then I take that and then I go to a white, which is another Vallejo color. I'm using the Vallejo colors because it has a higher pigment count. That means it's a better quality paint, less water mixed in it, you know, just better quality stuff. I would switch over to Vallejos if I could, completely, and I'm in the process of doing it. Anyway, then so I go from Codex Gray, Fortress Gray, white, then I go golden yellow, and that's the GW color I have, and then I use what is it, Bad Moon yellow, the brightest yellow that there is outside of fluorescence. So how I do it is pretty important. So here we are. One of the things that is the most important is, and I don't know what you guys can see, is when you do this, if you're not cutting your paints with water, then this is way beyond your skill level right here, because there's some other type of thing you can mix in with water, and the professionals use it. I don't, because I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. Anyway, excuse me, back to it. When you're doing this, when you drag your brush through your paints, and you can see how it drags the paint, and when you pull it out you can see how stiff it is, how much of it clings to your actual brush when you pull it out of the paint. So that tells you how much water is needed in it, and for what we are doing, we need a lot. We need a lot more water in the paint. So I put a lot on my brush. However you want to do it, however you get it out, you dip it in water, which I have right here. I slide it in, and I get this very fluid. For what we're doing, we're just trying to bring the color up. We need it really flat. Excuse me. We need it fluid because we're on a flat surface, and we don't want to see a bunch of brush strokes on our paint's canvas, which is this model. So I've got this out, and I've got it really fluid, and it looks good enough. So I got that mixed in really well. You can see here, at least I think you guys can. I'm doing this is pretty tough because I'm looking through back at my digital camera and trying to do this at the same time. And then you paint it on. It will recede away. The color, since it's so watery, it will recede away from when you paint it. And put it back on. I'll have to switch because that was last video that I just screwed up. Anyway, so down to this is a Codex Gray. This is the watery color. See how it recedes and it pulls back? You just got to get yourself a lot, and it could be too watery, and that's too watery. If you can see how that pulled back. So I just get a little more out and mix some more in. Now this is not okay. Now that's a little better. Not perfect, but okay, there we go. This is looking better. Damn it, come on. So, much like the Hoover Dam, when they poured the concrete in there, they had to do it continuously for lack of making cracks when you pour concrete. This is much the same way. It's like you want to work it all in one go until you have a definite, like a breaking point. I mean that because when it dries, it will puddle. The paint will puddle, and you will have a definite line and where you can see, and it's really easy. Oops, sorry guys. To see blemishes and stuff in here. This is really hard. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in. But see, like I'm not really using like brush strokes. I'm putting it down and then I'm moving it around in circular motions. That's just how I do it. I don't know if that's really important, but I'm looking to have uniformity in color because I don't want to be able to see shadows or things through it. here we go. I put it down. I move it in circles, and then when I get to where I need to be going, I outline it. I'll have to admit, this is one of the harder techniques I've ever done. And it's because it takes some real getting used to it, to working it, to get the final product. This seems real easy, like I'm just moving it around and painting it on. But getting it to look solid, that's another little trick in itself. So maybe you guys will pick it up instantly, but I didn't, that's for sure. So here's step one. Next step being white. Very same principles, same exact thing. Take that squeezed out of the eyedropper bottle, mix in some water, make it really watery, not too watery, but watery. And then the only thing with this one is, which I won't actually show you guys, is you do a couple layers. I don't know if you can see, but you can see here you want a constant color. So and that's the problem with doing this really watered down stuff. It's really hard to get like an even tone throughout the whole thing. So you can see right there, there's a little bit of unevenness where it's not as the color's not as light. So I'm just gonna go back over it, but I'm doing it with a white now, so I'm just gonna go ahead, and white, it becomes very obvious. This is where it's actually gonna be tough, because when you do it, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, especially after I get the whole thing done and it dries. I'll take some still shots. See right there, you can even see, I'm not sure what you guys can see, but solid right there, but then a little bit lighter, and you can see it, and it's not, I like to take it to a higher level than that, and that's where moving this stuff around constantly, and it's just going to require another coat. There it is, after about, I would say, 3 coats, and only because I wanted to take it to that level. I have a pretty solid coating. You can see a few spots here and there. Well, the next step is just putting on a yellow. Normally when I do yellow Imperial Fist Marines, I will prime it white, spraying, which is the best way, and then I will put on a golden yellow followed by a wash, which is a custom recipe I have. No big deal, but the next step is instead of doing the golden yellow, I put on the Bad Moon yellow, which is, since this is a nice, there's no shading to this other than the rivets, and I can simulate that later.